The medium is the message. Is she flaking on you for dates? That's the message. Is she sort of indecisive about being with you? Is she making you jump through hoops? Women break rules for alpha males and they make more rules for beta males. Is she making you rules? If that's the case, then her attraction to you or interest in you is probably not what it ought to be, because women will break rules to get with a guy who is so high value, because women understand that they can't afford to miss out on that opportunity with a guy who's a high value guy. So they will tend to break rules for that guy and make rules for guys, like you're saying before here, where it's like, they'll try to cover it up with love, right? Or they'll try to cover up the lack of like being hot for that guy with other things. Guys will do exactly the same thing too. They'll try to convince themselves that she's really into it, but she's really not into it. And I said, is she making rules for you? That's number one. If you want one sort of litmus test for your dating, is she making rules for you, or is she breaking rules for you because she really wants to get with you and she has this really just hot desire for you? And then I think probably the third most common is, how do I get my wife to have sex with me again?
Wow.
How do I get her back? You know, most of the guys who I deal with who are older and they are married, that's their primary concern, because they think that they used to be able to have sex with her, and maybe this is true, when they were single, and then they got married and she turned the sex spigot off.
Can I, from a female perspective, I'm not married obviously, but I speak to a lot of women also, like about marriage and the lack of sex, and I have a lot of men also messaging me asking all those 13%. So what I think is, in the beginning when you were dating your person, you were doing a lot. You were taking her on dates and you were doing this, and maybe you both were more fit or you were hotter or whatever, like everything was just more exciting. Now sex became like a chore, and guys don't, like, he's not gonna, give you a little sexy massage, and you're not gonna he's gonna come to you in bed, you're gonna be like, oh, you wanna fuck? You wanna do it? That's what men do nowadays.
I got half an hour.
And that's...
I got to fold laundry. I got to fold laundry. So you finish up.
And that's what happens in marriages now. It's not special anymore. It's like, just like you said, let's do this now so we can do the laundry later. And you're not into it. And I feel it's both sides. Is
that just inevitable in every relationship? Is that like...
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
If you make it like that, yeah, then it is. But you should work on your sex life the same way you work on your day-to-day things.
Speaking of sex life, I want to bring up this, and then we're going to get to the celebrity stuff. The sexual market value. We've spoken about this at length. Are you familiar with this sexual market value?
Bit, please.
You've just been talking about it the whole time.
Exactly. So would you break down sexual market value? So let me ask you a question first, then we'll get to Rollo. Would you say that you are at your peak sexual market value right now at age 30, 31?
I think that I'm the best now that I've been before.
Okay.
I'm the best, whatever. The grammar is not my side. I'm the best I could be right now.
You're the best version of yourself right now.
Yes.
What age do you want to get married by?
I don't really care. I mean, marriage for me is not like, by 30, I already passed it. Like, it's...
By 40?
I would like to get married by 40, but it's
by
not...
50?
Yeah,
How high of a priority is it for you right now?
It's not really such a high...
What about kids? What age would you like to have kids by? Do you want to have kids?
I would want to have kids. I want to have kids by, I don't know, 35.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a case example, and then I want to open up the sexual market value. There was a girl that I used to just be friends with. We kind of were dated in high school, whatever. Not dated, but I actually kind of wanted her more than she wanted me, and it was whatever, never happened. We went to a party. It was a 40th birthday party last year. Okay, I'm single. I had some serious relationships. I was single, making money. Life's good. She's still single, 40. The reception for the difference between us was palatable. Yo, Adam, what up? 40, single, making money, you're the man, bro. Oh, I won't say her name. Are you okay? Is everything
And
good?
that's what happens.
So that's my point.
Yeah.
A 40-year-old man, successful, single, no wife, no kids, you're fucking pimp, bro. Woman, 40, no wife, no husband, no kids. People look at that as being like, you okay?
Yeah.
Everything,
I know,
you're going to be all right? You're not going to kill yourself, are you?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? As being a beautiful, high-maintenance 31-year-old woman, I doubt you want to be that 40-year-old woman. 10 years from
Yeah,
now?
I mean, I think that's just the society today, and I would love that to change. I just don't know when it will or what needs to happen for this to change.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel a lot of women, and also that's a question I get often. It's like, I like this guy, like I want to get married. I'm not sure if he's the one, but I've been with him for 7 years now, and I don't want to start over, and blah blah. And that women have this pressure when they're in their 30s or late 20s that they need to get married, and then they do get married to this guy who they've been dating for the past 3 years, and then they get married, and then they realize 3 years in they're miserable, and then they get a divorce, and then you're starting again. So instead of rushing into a marriage because your clock is ticking, no, there's no clock ticking besides like you can freeze your eggs, do whatever. Like you can do
But
whatever.
there is a clock ticking though.
There's a
For
clock.
women more than men.
I don't think there's any. Okay, you guys can
You agree or don't?
click
I
all
agree
you
that
want.
there is most definitely a clock ticking.
So you don't think there
there's
is,
an
but you think
expiration
there is.
date. Put it that way.
Explain that.
All right, so
You're saying women are like
All
milk.
right, so God, I hate that analogy. I really hate.
People have used that before. I
What was the
apologize.
analogy?
It's like wine.
Expiration
No, well, not.
date.
Yeah, we'll get to
No.
that. So before I launch into what I'm going to say here, let me explain we're going to have to make a distinction between sexual market value and personal worth, okay? Because women tend to conflate those two. So if I say, well, you're successful, you got a career, you went to college, you make $100,000 a year, blah blah blah. Where's my man? How come I don't have a man right now? Well, the reason is because you've turned yourself into the man that you wanted to marry. That's why. So what happens is we sort of sell women this bill of goods that they need to follow sort of this masculine alpha male life plan, and then they get to 35, 36 years old and they go, where's the guy? Where's the guy that I'm supposed to be with? Well, it's because as things track, the thing is that men and women find different things attractive in the opposite sex. Women believe that men should find things attractive about them that women would naturally find attractive in a man.
Yep.
So when we're looking at between the ages of 18 and about 28 years old, you'll hear people talk about this online all the time. That's the hoe phase, right? That's the party years.
What's the whole face?
The hoe phase, 18 to
Oh,
28.
you know it.
I
Come on,
missed it.
Coco.
18 to 28 years
I
old.
would say 18 to 24.
Okay.
If in my
All
experience.
right. Well, the reason I rounded off to the 28 is because 29, 30, 31 is the epiphany phase, and I'll talk about
Yes.
that here in
Well,
just
I
a
agree
second.
with that.
I
actually.
saw it. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and I know, well,
She just had an epiphany right there, bro.
I know what you're going to say too, because I did read that one post you had on Instagram.
I have over 1,000.
If you have read my work, I have the infamous graph. I think I showed it when I was with
Sexual
on
market value,
Patrick's show. So at the peak levels, women sexual market value peak years is about 23 years old. And that's when women are the most fertile. That's when they can have children the easiest. That's when they are at the peak of fertility, their youth. That is the year. That is the age at which every guy from 15 all the way to 95 pegs as the most attractive that women are.
23?
At 23, between 22 and 24. So I average it out to 23.
I barely know how to brush my hair when I was 22.
Stop it.
Yeah.
No,
I'll-
I know. You know what? Honestly, when I'm looking at and I'm talking strictly physical right now. When I look at my photos, 20, 21, 23, I'm so much hotter right now. Like I just know how to dress better. I know how to do my hair. I know how to do my
We should
makeup.
probably get like a comparison there and take a poll.
Feel free. Find it on my social media.
So it's one. Well, I'm glad you have high self-esteem. Let's just
Yeah.
start right there. But anyways, between 18 and 28 years old is the hoe. Like women will call it themselves. They'll say it's the hoe phase. I didn't make
Yeah.
the word. They did. But I call it the party years in my second book. And that's usually at the time where women have the most sexual capital. That's when they get the $1 million. If in sexual agency, that's when they're handed, here's $1 million check and you've got to make a good investment. Remember when we were talking about finding a guy who's a good bet for the future? The reason women get so, like Gary Vee's, wife that he's divorcing is so pissed off, or that this is a trophy wife, is because she's taken some of that sexual capital and she's put it into Gary. So what happens is it represents an opportunity cost or a loss. A loss of investment if he doesn't pay off, if it doesn't pay dividends when her sexual market value decays when she's in her 30s and her 40s, and now he's worth way more, because men's sexual market value tends to peak right around 35, 36, 37 years old, because that's the point at which men have the most potential. I didn't say they're all going to do this, but they made lawyer in the law firm. They made surgeon. They're whatever it is. They built themselves up to have the most of what women find most attractive in a man.
The status
is right around that time, and of course, and as I said before, there's success objects, whatever. He still has to look good. You still have to be in shape. I'm not going to discount the looks aspect of that. He's got to be 6 feet tall. He's got to have a V tape, or he's got to have six-pack abs. Got that, but he also has to have some kind of success. He has to have achieved something, and it takes longer for men to mature into their peak potential than it does for women. So women's peak potential in the sexual marketplace is 23, and for men, it's about 36. Now, does that mean that 36-year-old guys are banging 23-year-old girls? Absolutely not. I'm just saying that they're mutually exclusive, okay? So the 23-year-old girl is at the peak of her potential. The guy who's 36, assuming he's made the most of himself and he's the best version of himself that he can be, it's probably going to happen right around 36, 37, somewhere in there, okay? Because it takes longer for him to do so, to work his way up that hierarchy, as I was saying. As this happens, the problem is that once women get down to about 30 years old and men are on their ascension to their peak, that point right there where and I call it the peak, or the ascension, whatever it is, the peak potential for them, that you'll also notice that is exactly the year, or right around the year, that most men and women get married, when a woman is just on her declination and the guy is on his ascent when it comes to sexual market value. So the guy, and you'll see this is in the United States, it holds true anyways. The average age of first marriage in the United States for men is about 29 to 30 years old. For women, it's about 28 to 29. Right, exactly as that is happening. And so what happens is women want to check out of the sexual marketplace before they age out, and it's that expiration date. And men, they're hoping that men are going to be stupid enough to not to not know that they're going to have more sexual selectivity when they get to be 36, 37 years old, if they take care of themselves. And also, as far as reproductive potential is concerned, every year after 30, your chances of having, successfully conceiving a child and then having no complications as a result of that goes down all the way until you get to be 40. And that's why I raise bloody hell about this. What is it? Freezing your eggs is some sort of like benefit for, what is it, for middle management at Facebook, Fortune 500 companies are offering that as benefits to women who want to pursue their career. It's not interesting. It's not about your career. It's the fact that you can't find the guy that you think you deserve. And so what happens?
That's a thing that Fortune 500 companies are offering their female.
Well, here, this is
C-suite executive.
This is a financial podcast, so let me explain something to you here. If you are investing in the future and you want to do so based on gender or based on sexual trends right now, invest in anything that promotes fear of missing out for women, and anything that promotes the idea that their sexual market value will be evergreen forever. So. Was it cryogenics for ovum cryogenics? That's another one. Anything beauty products, right? Women don't want to look older; they want to look what? Younger. So the cosmetic industry is not this multi-trillion-dollar juggernaut because women want to look older. It's because they want to look as if they were 23 years old, because that's what men are looking for. They're looking for that. That's what we base our attraction.
I have a question.
On.
Are we talking strictly physical appearance here, or you're saying in general?
No.
Because I see, this is my actual serious question. If you are successful entrepreneur, CEO, whatever, you're smart, you're a lawyer, doctor, whatever you are, and you're 30 something, let's say you're 37, and you start dating a girl who's 22, 23 on the peak, right? What are you talking to her about? She doesn't have any, you can think she's hot as much as you want, I'm sure she is, but that's not your life partner. Maybe she is super mature and maybe you're going to have something to talk to, maybe she's whatever. But when
you're looking at this in the perspective from a woman.
Okay, but let me continue.
Do guys want an unintelligent? First of all, why do we presume that a woman who is 23-year-old is not intelligent enough to get with the guy? That's number one. Number two is
I'm not done with my statement.
Most guys at that age who have that peak sexual selectivity, they're not looking for a long-term partner. They're not looking for at 23. They're looking right around 26 or 27.
Okay, I got confused as soon as you cut me off. So I'm just saying, I have a lot of friends who are in their early 20s because I have whatever.
Yeah.
And when I'm sitting there, me as a 31-year-old woman, I'm sitting there. I'm like, you guys have I just can't even sit here anymore. There's nothing to talk about. And these girls are smart. They
Yeah.
go to nice schools. They come from a good family, but their vision of life, and it's just like there's nothing you have in common. So when you're 23 and you get together with somebody who's 37, a successful lawyer, and you were just like, you got in your dreams to sorority, like you guys are not in the same.
I actually agree with you and also disagree with you at the same time, and we'll kind of bring this
Way to
home.
ride the fence there.
No, but there, because I'm in that world. Like by day, I'm very open about this. By day, I'm in the financial world. I work for a financial firm. I have to be very financial. But at night, I'm in fucking South Beach partying with 20-something-year-olds. There is a difference. Like I might see a 23-year-old and be like, "Damn, she's hot." And then I go to talk to her and I'm like, yeah, she's kind of.
But you're not going to marry her. You're not.
Right.
You're not interested in a long term.
But so to both your points, you're talking about almost sexual market value, how they look to an extent, and you're basically saying, hey, look, yeah, maybe 23-year-olds are hotter, but I can guarantee you at 31, I'm smarter, savvier, I dress better, I look better. Definitely a little bit more high maintenance.
No,
but,
you just know who
but
you are.
that's the whole question.